Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Anna Maffucci. She is a clinical psychologist, leadership transformation coach, and expert in authentic intelligence, and with a background in neuro psychology and corporate leadership, leading global transformations and managing global teams across various functions. She helps high achieving professionals successfully navigate career transitions, and she's on a mission to redefine success because true success, she says, should bring inner peace, not inner battle. Welcome to the show, Anna.
Thank you very much, AJ, and really happy to be here. And thank you for having me here.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show, Anna. Welcome to India in this online form. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We'll talk about authentic leadership. We'll understand what it is and how one can achieve true success with authentic leadership and all that. But before that, Anna, let's understand a bit about your journey, your background, so that the audience knows who they are listening to.
Sure. So I'm a professional coach helping people with professional and personal transitions. And it's quite interesting because often it goes very well together. Because, for example, people moving into a new role, first leadership role in a new city or even in a new country, or getting back from the maternity leave to work, or from paternity or sabbatical leave. These situations we all have been at least once in our life. I'm a neuropsychologist and researcher building the framework for authentic intelligence. But instead of going into the very details of my own experience, let me tell you about the mistake that actually cost me almost 8 years in my life. And given the life expectancy, it is quite an expensive one. So imagine this. I'm sitting in the living room and it's early morning and I'm helping my son to dress up. He's almost 3 years old. And then suddenly he asks, "Mommy, why you are crying? Why do you cry? What did I do wrong?" And that was the moment when I realized that the tears were coming from my face. But I didn't feel it. So I hugged him very, very tight. And I said that Mommy was just tired. And of course, it was not his fault. But that was the very moment when I realized I needed to change something. I don't feel myself anymore. The challenge that I had was I was trying to be who I was trying to be was not equal who I really wanted to be. I was not myself. And for example, I wanted to do something meaningful. And instead, I spent the time in activities that were not really aligned with my values or meant nothing to me and really had very little impact on the things that were important. I wanted to be creative, and instead I spent in the meetings which were boring at best, or people were arguing. There was politics around it. I wanted to connect with the people who I trust, who inspire me, who challenge and support me. And I was surrounded by the people whose values I don't share or I don't accept. So decision at that moment that I made was I don't want to continue to live someone else's life, right? And I was blessed. I was surrounded by the people who supported me, by my family, by the professionals who were around and helping. But it was the time to reflect. And it is quite interesting because we need the moment like that in our life to reflect. The reflection doesn't come quite naturally to us until we are at a certain point of time. So that was really reflecting back, I clearly saw that the most successful and happiest moments in my life, both personal and professional, were when I felt myself, and when where people who surrounded me were feeling myself as well, were feeling themselves as well. So understanding who you are and being your true self in each and every situation of your life, whether professional or personal, actually is the only way to live your one life, because we only have one life. So I'm not a messiah here. So that is why, from a research perspective and a psychologist perspective, I wanted to create something that helps people to navigate through these transitions. And that's why I have created the Authenticity Index, helping people to understand who they are and helping them to understand how they can uh, be continuously themselves throughout their life.
Absolutely, Anna. Absolutely. So let's look at authenticity this way, authentic intelligence, authentic leadership will come.
Mm-hmm.
But people have to do many things. They have to look at different roles in their lives. Home, when talking to a neighbor, you will talk differently. When talking to a man on the street, you will talk differently. And when you are
Mm-hmm.
talking in office, you will talk differently. Just in old days, they used to say, be in do in Rome what as Romans do, be in Rome as Romans do.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what we do in our day-to-day lives. When do we know that we are losing our authenticity, and what is wrong with being pragmatic? Where is the problem here? We have to be
Mm-hmm.
pragmatic because we have to live in this society, in this world.
Yeah.
Whereas we also have to, have it does not take away your intelligence or anything. Like if I go to any other place in the world, I will try and acclimatize myself to that. Otherwise, I will not survive. But
Mm-hmm.
I will not lose my own authenticity. So I want to understand, where does it actually become a problem when you feel that your authenticity is gone just by being into a situation in a role? Or is there a problem with the world, or is that a problem with yourself?
That is a very, very good question. Thank you for that, because it is about the integrity. And that's where you you are absolutely right. We have all of the different roles in our life, being professional, being manager, being parent, being a daughter, brother, sister, neighbor, friend, traveler around the world. But being aligned with who you truly are, your values in each and every role that you are, and not being fragmented, like putting the different hats on. That's the integrity within you. And that is only formed when you truly know yourself, when you are able to say, what's important for me today? What are my values? What are my limits? What are my strengths? But at the same time, you are able to understand what is coming your way. What are the different experiences that life suggests you? And you understand the other people. That helps you to understand the other people. When quite often when we are talking about authenticity, we're self-centered. We're talking, that's me, being me authentic. But authenticity is much more than that. It's about understanding the other people and accepting their authenticity. That is why when you are saying, When I'm traveling, I would like to adapt. It is actually not adapting, it is being respectful to the other people, their authenticity. And that, to once you have these three components, the deep self-awareness, ability to learn from experience, and understanding and accepting others' authenticity, then you're much stronger to sustain any and manage external influence. You can filter, right? What is important, what actually really making myself right now impacted, and how I am impacting the other people. And altogether, that exactly allows you to have this social integrity in all of those different roles. So that comes together.
Absolutely, absolutely, Anna. See, if you look at it from your point of view, you have managed, globally, you have managed teams, you have been a leader yourself, you know four languages, fluent in four languages, if I understand.
That's
And does that make you lose your uh, own language that you learned from childhood? No, you don't. Why
no.
is it then leaders lose empathy? Why is it that they lose about their authenticity? Why there is so much of debate? Why is this great resignation happening? Why is this quiet quitting happening? Why is this revenge quitting happening? Is there a problem with the quality of leaders that we have? Or is it a problem about authenticity? Sometimes, uh, if you put the wrong thing on if I use a software which is not compatible with my laptop, it will not
Hmm.
work. So maybe some leaders are just simply not made for it, and we are trying to put this whole concept of authenticity. Help us understand this part. Some people may not be made at all for leadership, and we are thrusting leadership on them.
Hmm. That is absolutely it. And I think when you were talking about what is wrong, I think there are two elements here. The first one is that there is self awareness. Because, you know, people rarely wake up in the morning saying, okay, what's important for me? What are my values? I want to reflect on that. It happens only when, there is some challenge in our life. There is some transition, there is some change. We might be pushed into that. So this, and it's quite interesting. There are the researches that show that up to 90% of people think that they are self-aware, but in reality it's only 10 to 50% who are truly self-aware, who have that deep self-awareness. So that's the first point. The second point is, on the contrary, quite interesting. We are very self-centered, especially when we begin our careers. When we are 25, we're very centered on what's in it for me. And true leadership, it's not about being self-centered. It's about being centered on the other people, serving the other people, inspiring them, supporting, challenging them, and providing all of that. So when you say some people might not be kind of made for leadership, I think that sometimes we are really driving ourselves towards the expectation that has been made of us, or we may see appropriate for us. And when I was talking about the mistake that I was making, that was in a way exactly it. I was choosing the role that was not really aligned with my own values and what I was truly enjoying doing. And that is why I think kind of what I'm trying to do right now is really help people to avoid those mistakes, but because they are quite expensive.
Right, Anna. Right. Suppose if I am a good leader, I think I am a good leader. But then there are so many intelligences around,
Yeah.
authentic intelligence, artificial intelligence, spiritual intelligence, you know, emotional
Cultural,
intelligence, so
social.
many everything, and I look like like I don't know which intelligence to adapt to and adopt. So, and I
Hmm.
think the most important thing we start lacking is common sense. Empathy is common sense, but we have missed out on that.
Hmm.
So I want to understand then, help us understand quickly about this. What is this authentic intelligence? And what
Hmm.
sort of thing that I should do that I am authentic also, but I am also true to my job, because I need to make
Hmm.
profits for the company also, because so many lives are dependent on it. The company will close if I keep on doing charity. So in that aspect,
Hmm.
how do I be an authentic leader, achieve success in the right way?
Hmm. And I think here it is what I was mentioning, these five elements that you are gradually going through this deep self-awareness, starting from a very simple things like what is important for me now, what are my values, what were the situations when I was at my best, and looking at that from the perspective why the situations were so special, what was the sentiment that I had when I'm thinking about them, right? And what are kind of my values that are coming up from it. So the very simple things about the starting being self-aware, and then going through the really being open to experience, but understanding others. And I think that there is a lot that we're talking these days about active listening. So how to actually be actively listening in order to connect with other people. But I think in the most important thing after we when I'm working with my clients and coaching them through the transitions, what we start definitely is with this deep self-awareness, and then it ends with one very simple task. What I'm asking them to do is to define what success means. But it is not only for yourself. It's kind of a 360 definition of success, if you like. It is what success means to my organization, to all of the different, to my family. What does it mean? If when I'm going through, for example, this change, or I'm stepping into this new role, what success means for me, for my manager, for the people I'm working with, for my family, for my friends, and understanding this kind of success, giving that definition of success from all of the different angles, that allows to be open to the experience, understand the other people, but at the same time achieve that success in a way
Absolutely.
that is for all people around me.
Absolutely, absolutely, Anna. So let's understand how one can do this course correction through your authenticity index framework. Tell us a bit about your framework so that it helps uncover, as you say, it helps uncover the hidden gaps between external success and inner
Mhm.
fulfillment.
So, in most of the cases, people are really coming to me in the situation when something feels off. I'm kind of running in my everyday life, but I don't feel really aligned the values are, there is misalignment with the values, or I'm trying to achieve something, but it doesn't come my way, whatever I'm doing. And what we do is very simple. So we start with this task, the authenticity index, and it's as simple as it is. It gives you the authenticity score. So actually, from 0 to 100, it gives you the score, how how true you are, how well you understand yourself, and then actually details for each of the 5 dimensions that I was mentioning where you are. And that helps, that gives us a starting point on, and in most of the cases, it is about the self-awareness. People, as I mentioned, only up to 15% of the people really reflecting regularly on what's important for me. But you know what is mostly interesting? Authentic intelligence is not about reaching a certain state. It's not like the skill that you have learned or gained once and for all. It is the flow, because life changes. So once we go through each and every dimension, self-awareness, experience integration, understanding others, managing external influence, social integrity, what I'm as well given the people is the ability to do it in as they progress in their lives. I'm all for autonomy in the end, right? Because life changes, as I mentioned. What
Right.
were my values when I was 25? Believe me, they're different to what they are now. And that's why it's important. It's a flow. It's nothing, it's not a state. It's a state in a particular moment.
Right. So do you think in future only, only bots will be the ideal kind of authentic intelligence because we will feed that prompt? For humans, we are still, fallible, and that we will find it a lot more tough to be authentic as we go forward. What is your sense of the future?
That's a very interesting question. I think that from a perspective of artificial intelligence, until the moment artificial intelligence is actually able to sense, to have that external experience, to sense, to have the senses, it cannot be authentic, right? Because it gets what we give. But it's quite interesting. The thing with artificial intelligence, the purpose is not for it to be authentic. It's to be helpful, make, give the insights, give the information, analyze the data. I was just earlier talking with one of the very brilliant experts in the learning area. And we were talking about this value shift. So how authentic intelligence, artificial intelligence, sorry, can actually, automation, for example, can help identify and shift the value. Let's take receptionist. So what's the value of the receptionist? Sometimes people may think, okay, they manage a lot of the tasks and calls and everything. But in a way, it is having that moment of greeting, human connection when the person comes. And that's how it shifts. What is like, what is in my job that is valuable, and what artificial intelligence can actually do instead. So to your question, I don't think it is the box. It will be every year. It might be more difficult to be authentic because we're surrounded by so much information and everything. There are more and more challenges, but that is why I think it is exactly the moment for us to start paying attention to that.
Absolutely, absolutely. We'll have to keep watching the future because present is giving so much of information and data for us to analyze. Be that as it may, there is much to learn and understand about these things from you, Anna. And I'm sure a lot of people would want to connect with you, learn more about this, be your client. What's the best way for them to do so?
The best way, really, I'm on LinkedIn. So if you would like to learn more, definitely connect with me. If you would like the support in your career transitions or personal transitions, I have the waiting list of the clients, and I'm happy to support the people as they need. And there is the website, but please feel free to connect on LinkedIn. I'm very, very open to all of the new contacts.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you, Jay. It was a real pleasure.